believe it? It's already May. And not only the temperature's heating up, so is the in-ring action. NXT, NXTUK, combined like Voltron, this show, Draped and Gold. Hello, everyone. My name is Flobo Boyce, and, well, you know who I am. But as always, I am not alone. I need someone to help me out to navigate all this wrestling. You may see them all over the world, all over the internet, from championship wrestling, from Hollywood's content, and the Anytime Radio Show. Give it up for a real Jack Flobo.
What's up, Flobo? Boyce, the vaccinated duo are coming to you live. I'm so proud of being vaccinated. I don't know why. I mean, hundreds of millions of people literally are vaccinated, but I feel like I've gotten up on everyone now by really getting it.
Weird flex, but okay. Shout out to Villain Matthews. How you doing, Villain? Jeff King in the house. And Lamb. Appreciate it.
Lamb, what's up, guys?
Oh, my goodness me. All right. NXT UK had a loser leaves NXT UK match, and, well, I just know you're not going to be surprised at the result, but I was. Amir Jordan, Kenny Williams, and it looks like Amir Jordan has to do the whole nah. Hey, goodbye. Thoughts?
Yeah, so this is, they always say that a great story comes in 3 acts. And I thought that they did that with this story they told tonight. And one of the things, first off, Act 1, the backstage talks, when they were confirming that this is the end, it made this feel so big and so important. It's just those little things, that serious, hey, just so you know, this is the end. Once the bell rings, there's no shenanigans or flim-flam. This is it. I don't know about you, Flobo, but just seeing that made me think, geez, this is serious. This is a big deal.
Huge deal when friends fight. Jack and I are fighting before the show. I like the fact that Johan Pena can actually make it this week. Well, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for gracing us.
Woo! The past couple weeks are not good enough. Okay, Kenny Williams looks like he has a brand new attitude, and I could see him all up and down that division. But there's a part of me thinking that he's going to pack his bags and head stateside had he not get on the winning ways here. But with Amir Jordan on the outs, I have questions, Jack. Does he try to get back in? Does he go to retire? Are we seeing promos? Where does he go next?
Well, as I said, this was a 3-act story. The match obviously being Act 2, but Act 3, getting to the part you're talking about, I just want to say I'm obviously a Kenny Williams fan. I obviously have favorites in this, but it was sad and it was emotional at the end of the show, seeing just how hard this was on Amir Jordan. And I think for us fans watching shows like this all the time, it's good to see that these situations are so much more than just another day at the office for these guys. It was a tough day, no doubt, for Amir, but I'm sure he's going to find his way to apply his craft. Whichever brand he goes to, whatever he does down the road, he's going to be successful. He's got so many things he can do going forward. It was a tough day, but again, as a fan watching these, sometimes we take for granted just how big these moments are. And I thought that was a really powerful moment at the end of the show to let us see that this has an impact on him.
I'm kind of surprised. I was hoping you would gloat a little bit more. Adam Ghazi, what up? And Beast Grizz rolling through. Woo! Here's the deal. I like it. The story is great. It's hot. Having someone basically hit you with a belt and beat you not once, but twice. And hopefully Amir Jordan will come back. But I don't know, man. Is he going to be the same thing? Is he going to change? Not as bad as Ilya Dragunov changed, but we'll get to it in a second. But will he change? Will he have to change to be able to be back in the fold?
Will Amir have to change?
Yeah, like the killer instinct and all that.
Well, I've always said he needs that killer instinct. He definitely needs to learn from this and find a way to become more aggressive and more dangerous. Look, he brought it tonight, but I think if he had the killer instinct that Kenny Williams did, that was the difference maker here tonight, was that Kenny Williams was going for blood tonight. That was the huge difference makers. The world. He could have definitely won this match if he had that same kind of killer instinct. Will he need it wherever he goes after this? I don't know. He probably should have it one way or the other, but I've always said NXT UK is one of the most dangerous places to be a pro wrestler, the toughest, meanest place out there. And I'm sure there, something happened tonight. I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, but maybe where he's at right now will work on whatever other brand he goes to. I don't know what brand it'll be, but someone like Amir Jordan, he's going to find a place, whether it be in NXT Prime, whether it be SmackDown, whether it be Raw, whether it be 205 Live, whether it be whatever they need him to do, he'll find a place.
Oh, George Hermosa says, Flobo and I were in the same shirt. Dude, George, if you're around on Thursdays, holla at your boy, man. Come on the show. We'll chat, we'll talk all that NXT wrestling goodness. But typically,
yeah,
Jack,
we could all wear DJ Jack Farmer t-shirts, which you could get at realjackfarmer.threadless.com.
This is why I do it. I love, man. Usually I'll do the first match of the card last, but this one I want to talk to you about because it does tickle my interest here. Dave Mastiff, Bomber Dave Mastiff, even though it was noted on air he lost his last 2, I have it in my schedule as being over his last 4, is in a match against Ilya Dragunov, the chain, the Walter modified Ilya Dragunov. The match lasted literally a minute and a half, 2 minutes even, by ref stoppage. Dave Mastiff got his nose destroyed. Now, this is all great. This is all fuel for Ilya Dragunov, but what's that say about Dave? Is he washed? Is he done?
First and foremost, you hit the nail on the head. The disrespect to Sam Gradwell, who got a win over Dave Mastiff just recently as well. Why didn't he get a shout out during this whole thing? But we talked about aggression. We talked about the killer instinct. Did you notice how Dragunov just went right after Mastiff with the vitriol that got him in this place to begin with? He blasted Mastiff in the nose so hard he broke it. It showed just how dangerous Dragunov really is. But also, I think it's only fair to say that it showed how tough Mastiff is. Let's be honest. If that happened to me, I'd be out for the count right at that moment. But Mastiff kept fighting. The only reason this match stopped was because the referee made the decision to stop it. I feel like if the referee decided to let it keep going, Mastiff would have kept on fighting. Mastiff would have kept on going. Who knows how the match would have ended? But I think Mastiff, even in a loss here, if we count it as a loss, showed he is just as tough as he's always been.
So what say you? Is this ref stoppage better or worse than a loss for Dave Mastiff at this point? I mean, his nose got like this, it got put to a different dimension. And it wasn't just a trickle of blood. It was a pool of that stuff when the match was called.
That hit in the nose hurt just watching it. Just a perfectly well-placed shot by Dragunov. Again, everyone talks about how emotional he's gotten. I just see viciousness. Everyone talks about he's losing control. I don't know how you say this guy's losing control when he gets a perfect bullseye with that elbow that ended the match. You know, it's funny. A few months ago, Dave Mastiff knocks a guy out with one punch, and we talk about how great he is. Dragunov, he's breaking nose. He's throwing one elbow, putting down a guy as big as Mastiff. We're saying he's losing control. No. I don't think that he's losing control. I think the emotions are controlling him, but they're controlling him in all the best of ways. Dragunov, possibly one of the most dangerous men in NXT UK right now. And Flobo, that is saying something.
I have to agree with you. Dylan Matthews says ref stoppage is worse, but I'm kind of inclined to agree with. And, well, if this was a real wrestling promotion, in fact, if I was employed by NXT UK as general manager, I would say, look, man, it's great that Dragunov has the killer instinct, but he's literally destroying my talent. Like, there's going to be nobody left if he keeps going the way he's doing it. Has anyone stepped up? Will anyone step up and say, hey, Dragunov, you're just a little bit too angry for this wrestling art and science craft?
You know, a name that I throw around quite a bit when it comes to these kinds of situations is Jordan Devlin. I want to see him get in the ring with Dragunov. Jordan Devlin is one of those guys that's so talented. I'd like to see what he does to maintain and control that just hurricane of anger, Dragunov.
Yeah, Jordan Devlin is someone that, well, if you believe what his promo was, it's like, I'm going to hop back on a jet back to the United Kingdom, which means that if he is coming back to UK, there has to be a long rogues gallery of individuals that will have to get in the ring with him. So I'm with you. Why not? Why not do it? But it was interesting that we had two ref stoppages in a row.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, if not him, then I'd like to see Eddie Dennis show that brains always triumphs over emotions.
Of course you would. Of course you would. What up, Paulie? Fear the sting. Let's go high. So let's talk about this Supernova Sessions, which I thought was it's always be like the most entertaining part of the hour, right? But what I liked about this time is that we had Nathan Frazier on, and Noam Dar treated him as if he was a rerun, which I think is more insulting than anything else I've ever seen in a while. Thoughts about the Supernova Sessions this week?
It was great. My favorite part was the message that Noam Dar had for you, Flobo.
For me?
For you. I like the message. He said you shouldn't call him underrated. And I agree. I think it's very cold of you to say that he's underrated or that he needs your rating in the first place. Noam Dar is better than that. So how dare you underrate him or talk about him being underrated? You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm always ashamed of myself. That's what I do. That's why I live my life. I'm a content creator in his mid-30s. But what I'm saying is, look, we have our ideas of where people should be in rankings, and Noam Dar is usually not the first at the top of mine. He's great. That's why he's underrated. How is that bad? How?
The one thing about this that I thought was kind of a missed opportunity, but still funny for me as someone who pays attention, the irony and the comedy of them making fun of Frazier for changing his name when you're sitting next to Shaw Samuels, who was supposed to change his name, and he said, nah, not happening. Yeah. I thought it should have been brought up. Shaw Samuels should have been like, look, man, they wanted me to change my name. I do what I want.
I forget his name now. Ed Harvey. Yeah, it supposed to be Ed Harvey for a bit.
So this was fantastic. I thought it was great all around. Once again, Shaw Samuels stealing the show for me. I loved it. My favorite thing, though, as the whole thing, the thing that I think will really stand the test of time more so than funny quips and banter, was that they challenged each other to a Heritage Rules match, one that's not for the title, nothing like that. This is just a match under Heritage Rules, making this division feel more important and more concrete within the world of NXT UK. And it's a division I love, and so I'm really glad they're doing it.
It's very cool that the Heritage Cup is here to stay. We had a tournament. There's a cup. For a second, I was a little worried it'd be kind of like we have this thing over here, huh? But no, it's actually being very important in each of the storylines. I love the fact it's gone through Supernova Sessions more than once. It's almost like he is the door when it comes to that.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely the gatekeeper, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, well, if it means more Noam Dar, I'm happy for it.
Moving on. Talking about people that make me go, urgh. You got Saxon Huxley. Trent 7 in a matchup. Saxon looked pretty good, almost close to a win. Looked like that after your boy Sam Gradwell made an appearance, and it was all like, I'm in your head, you're whack. Oh my gosh, Trent 7. But Trent still gets the 7-star lariat to his advantage. Now, we can talk about Saxon Huxley's win-loss record to the cows come home, but the bigger story is this. Gradwell, 7. What?
I want everyone to stop talking about how old Trent 7 is. Stop calling him the Silver Fox. Stop calling him Grandpa. The guy's not even 40 yet. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on making fun of this guy for being so old. He's not that old. But I thought Huxley is someone who I've had my eye on for a long time. He always puts on a good showing. Can't quite seem to close the deal. Was hoping he'd get it done this time as Sam Gradwell, to your point, got in the head a little bit of Trent 7. And I think as a match between the two of them seems to be on the horizon, I have to give the edge to Sam Gradwell right now. He's looking strong. He's looking big. And he's getting in the head of Trent 7, a guy who just lost a lot of weight to get into that cruiserweight division, which good on him, but also has to leave him a little bit more winded, a little less strong, not quite the Trent 7 that was winning the championships earlier in his NXT UK run. If this is going to be a match between the two, I got to give it to Sam Gradwell.
You're here first, guys. Don't lose weight. You get winded and be weak. That's what Jack said. Just eat that cheeseburger. Just put that body mass on. Body by Jack Farmer.
Cheeseburgers give you energy.
They do. We're not medical professionals. But look, you said it right. We like Trent 7. In fact, there's very few people we associate hard and fast with the brand than Mustache Mountain, Pete Dunne with NXT UK. And Sam Gradwell, someone I almost wrote off months ago. I'll admit it. I underrated him. As coming come in with a vengeance. And now there's a matchup here that I really want to see. How can Trent Seven escape this? Will he even escape this? That's what good storytelling is about, in my opinion, and one of the few hidden gems I think within the fold was going on.
Yeah, you don't escape Sam Gradwell. That's the point of Sam Gradwell. You're never going to escape him. He's going to come after you until he gets to you, and you're going to have to deal with him. That's what makes him great.
Or scary. That's fine. All right, man.
Yeah. I stay on his good side, so I'm not too worried about it.
How is that possible? You can like pander to everybody. Eddie Dennis, Walter,
I don't pander. I just talk facts. So many people get caught up in all their feelings and trying to like people. I just look at who the actual best are, Flobo. That's all you got to do. Call it down the middle.
Oh my goodness. All right, that's fine. If you're going to sell out, please take me along with you. I'm hungry. Let's talk about our women's division. We have that number one contenders match next week. I looked on without her soul, apparently. Ginny, Danny Luna, Amelia McKenzie, and Zaya Brookside? Question mark. Because Amel, the French Hope, got involved and beat her up backstage. Why is everyone doing their business backstage, Jack? Why?
I'm sure you saw that happen and you said to yourself that Amel must be a terrible person for attacking Zaya Brookside. But at what point do we start saying Amel hates Brookside? Nina Samuels hates Brookside. You know what? The common denominator is always Zaya Brookside. Maybe if we take the blinders off for a second, Flobo, we find out that Zaya Brookside is the jerk and she has it coming. I've never known anyone to get attacked that many times by that many different people and not think to myself, maybe they deserve it.
Maybe, but we don't have no context as to why Mel beat up Zaya Brookside. You can't be like, well, she deserved it. We don't know what happened there.
I deal in reckless speculation, Flobo. I don't deal in facts.
The best kind of speculation, honestly. It's top tier speculation.
I'm just saying, if you knew someone had an issue with everybody, you wouldn't say everybody has a problem. You would say that person has a problem. And Zaya Brookside seems to have a problem with every single person on the roster. Even Kaylee Ray can make friends with Isla Dawn.
Yes, if this was the Office Depot, but you're in a sport, you're supposed to fight people. It's not necessarily that you have a problem with everyone. It can be just different, separate conflicts. There's no patterns or anything.
So Amel then did the right thing and conflicted Brookside.
Wow. Shout out to the French Hope, yo. Lamb says, better backstage than a parking lot. NXT's dangerous place is the parking lot. NXTUK is the backstage. I wonder if NXTUK had a parking lot. It'd be even worse because it would be even more dangerous.
It's called the car park over there.
Oh, yes. Or maybe the tube. I have no idea. But do you think that Zion makes it next week, though? Or do you think Amel's going to take her place?
If I was running the show, I'd put Amel in.
Wow.
I think Amel is great. I think Amel obviously showed she wants it just a little bit more. She has that, again, I keep talking about it, Flobo, that killer instinct. She wants this. She's going to take it. We talk about grabbing the brass ring. This is what it is. You don't wait for an opportunity. You take an opportunity. I think Amel's earned it.
I could just imagine backstage being a wrestler and knocking someone out with a chair. You have the refs and general managers pulling you apart, saying, "What are you doing? Get out of here!" And the person's like, "Oh, at least Jack agrees with me." That's not the way you get ahead. You have to win contests fair and square at some point. You can't be knocking over behind.
That's how I would become the general manager. If you'd see Sid Scalia backstage with me creeping behind him with a steel chair. like Elmer Fudd walking around, like sneaking on my tiptoes.
Oh my gosh, that's the perfect sketch. You just like knock over general manager and put your nameplate on the desk.
I did it. I got it.
That's to forget Monster.com. Get a steel chair, y'all. Before you head over to NXT Prime, man, any final thoughts and words about this edition of NXT UK?
Another really good episode. Another one. The thing that, again, I said the other week, everything feels so important on NXT UK. And I want to give a shout out to the series of videos between Tyler Bate and A-Kid. So simple, so basic, but in all the best ways. They told a story by simply letting them tell the story of how they got to where they are. And they didn't do it in a silly way or an overbearing way. It was very serious, but it wasn't stuffy. And it makes their matchup feel very important. And NXT UK, just the very best at making anything and everything feel like it matters and it's important.
It's interesting how, and again, not to compare to other brands, I guess the word brands or promotions or what have you, how young that Heritage Cup is, but now how important it feels within the space of a it's very cool how that's built, especially NXT UK. You're absolutely right, though, for sure. Heading over to the Tuesday Night Delight, it's still weird to say that. I mean, Tuesday nights, I watch it.
It doesn't really flow the same.
No, it doesn't really. Well, okay, let's talk about the show, though. It was a banger, of course.
Yeah.
NXT, Black and Gold, that rock club vibe, Poppy doing the intro. We started off big. Falls Count Anywhere, which is one of my favorite stipulations in the video game. Leon Ruff versus Swerve. And Swerve gets to win, which to me is one story. But the bigger story is that your boy Isaiah Scott has help. Jack, explain yourself why your guy, a guy you somehow support, has to get a whole quite entourage, literally, to make this happen to beat Leon Ruff.
Whose house?
Not saying it. Not
say
saying
it, Flobo.
Nope.
In the chat, I want to hear everyone say it. Swerve's house. Okay, I have to say right off the bat, this match of the night for me, match of the week for me. This was so good. This was the NXT match of the week for me. These guys, I give Leon Ruff a hard time. That guy came out swinging. He came out fighting. Swerve, though, seemed to have his number throughout, was reversing him, kind of one step ahead throughout the match. But, man, they tore it down. Swerve showing that he can power wrestle, he can speed wrestle, he can strike, he can do all these things. But you're right. He showed that the most important skill in all of pro wrestling is not being alone. He has some friends. He brought them from the studio, and they're about to make some great music in NXT.
They have not been named yet, but it does seem that's pretty rolling hard. Shanti V. Adonis, a former Tahuti Miles, in the group, hanging out, chilling with the boys. And, well, you know what? I kind of like it. We talk about how NXT is a more grounded brand. Like, a lot of times someone has an entourage. There's always that one dude you think really gets the dirt work. And so it's cool to see that. That just means to me more Isaiah Swerve Scott, which I'm not sure I'm happy about. But I know Jack is, because like Swerve, Jack is a Pac Northwest boy.
Yeah. Tacoma represent. That's the worst Tacoma represent ever.
Tacoma represent? Yes.
Tacoma represent. No one in Tacoma claims me right now. But what I love about and Adam in the chat from the lab, I like the comment there, because what I was getting from this, whenever Swerve is in the studio, to me, it seems like a cool, gritty version of the Firefly Funhouse. Not that it's crazy and kooky, but like it's this separate place that's his place, that is like his world with his crew around him, where he gets to do his thing. And then he comes and joins NXT when it's time for fighting, just like the Firefly Funhouse was. But this was like a cool version. Something I've been saying for a while, I think Swerve is that guy that is going to be the next generation's person that they look to and love, because he seems to approach wrestling from a very unique, very youthful way as far as how they present style and looks and presentation. And I think he's going to have a great career.
I'm just a hater. And he's probably a nice guy. He's probably a great wrestler, but I'm just a hater. Just make some songs and drop the records, bro. You don't got to hit Leon Ruff like that.
Leon Ruff, though, he did great. He did. I give Leon Ruff a hard time, but that match was really good. It was really good. I really enjoyed that match. He did an amazing job. He really showed up, and yeah, I got to give it to him.
It is funny how Leon Ruff went from being like, it's that guy a year ago, to being like, it's Leon Ruff with his own shirt, which is definitely a good sign, because it's the basic design they give almost everyone when they get their first one. So if you buy that one, they'll make cooler ones. So if you like Leon Ruff, support the homie and buy his t-shirt after you buy mine at flopito.threadless.com.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because the thing people need to know, when they always talk about the wrestlers they want to see more of, why does this guy get, they use the term barrier. And you want to get them on TV, buy their merch. Buying merch is what sends the message. It's not tweeting about it. It's not hashtags. It's none of that. It's spending money on the merch. So if you like somebody, go buy their merch. And that is wrestlers at any and all levels of wrestling. So whether they're an indie person or whether they are a star on SmackDown, if you like them, buy their merch.
Yeah, we all know that money is tight and everything has different situations, but you got to realize, especially at like the independent level, a lot of talent gets paid $20, $30, $50 a night to wrestle, and they bring their own merchandise. And that's why, and please don't try to negotiate at an event. That's not cool. Just buy the t-shirt. Just go for it. If you can swing it, by all means. If you can't, like, comment, share, get the word out. Yeah, I like the fact that there is an entourage in NXT. People can say there's too many factions in wrestling right now. But I feel like if we're in the faction era, what's one more, right? we're in it. We're not going to undo it. So let's get more factions involved. Or gang warfare. Why not?
I agree with you on the faction things. I like factions. I feel like everyone likes factions. I think the only people that complain about too many factions are people who just like to complain about things. We all like factions. I mean, that's basically what like the NFL is. We all there's 32 factions and you pick one you like. That's what basketball is. There's a bunch. That's what team sports is. You pick a team you like and you root for them. That's why I think this is great. I think we like having the team we say, this is my team. This is the one I support. I think it's great.
Yeah, I like it. 32 factions. I'll come out to the Wolfpack theme.
Dun, 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 dun.
By the way, if you guys have not listened to the WCW rap album, do it. It's hilarious. Just do it. Yeah, that's it. That's what I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
Before I get to our next matchup, I know we had a comment in the chat from Wheelpop Stud who says, I love Johnny's promo at William Regal's office. Let's talk about that. Johnny Gargano trying to pull the strings. Austin Theory just wowed by nails. It's coming on one side of the way. It's coming off the rails a bit, and we'll get the other side in a minute. But the Johnny Gargano, the Austin Theory side, seems a little cuckoo bananas. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, yeah, of course it's a little cuckoo bananas because he started with trying to have a meeting work with William Regal. William Regal doesn't show up for work. William Regal doesn't do anything.
He was working last night on Tuesday night.
They were just chatting about their nails. They weren't really getting any work done. William Regal just hangs out. He doesn't sign contracts or do anything like that. So, of course, when Johnny Gargano is like, hey, let's have a business discussion, William Regal's like, whoa. I'm too busy for you. Come on, Johnny Gargano's the North American champion. How are you too busy to talk to him?
Look, man, I'm not trying to defend Regal because I kind of am. But, like, if I had an office that small without windows, I wouldn't be in it either. It's a box, bro. It's almost a prison.
Hey, if he doesn't like the office, he shouldn't be decorating it with brass knuckles to show off to everybody. Maybe he should decorate it with some contracts.
Wow. You know what? You're not going to get his job, steel chair or not, all right? Regal's pretty much the most tenured.
Well, I'm smart enough to know that even if I hit him with a steel chair, he'd still probably beat the crap out of me. So that's not going to work.
That'll be a live on location Draped and Gold.
Yeah, I even if I snuck up behind him with a chair, I don't think I could take William Regal. So it's not happening.
So one of the biggest win and loss happened today with your boy Cameron Grimes, who beat Asher Hale, but didn't get a chance to celebrate. Well, Jack, let me ask you questions. Thoughts about the match, and why is Cameron Grimes having a hard time out in the street?
First off, I was watching this match, and I was thinking, back in the old Attitude Era days, everyone considered Stone Cold Steve Austin an escapism kind of person to watch because he was doing all the things we wanted to do, being the guy we wanted to be. And I'm sitting here watching Cameron Grimes, and I'm saying to myself, Cameron Grimes is the 2021 version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's a guy that started with nothing, invested in some random thing he didn't really understand, is now super rich, living the life, getting wins on NXT UK, or not NXT UK, just NXT. But getting wins for now. Maybe he'll go to UK. Getting wins, living the dream. But that Ted DiBiase, you know what? Long term, I think he's a mentor for old Cameron Grimes.
Elliot Fletcher says, I thought Ashley was saying that. I did too. It was weird. It was almost like, wait, did he like change his hair real quick? But hey, that just shows you the kind of people they have backstage of NXT and the Performance Center, because the depth is there in spades. The cave-in was one of the better cave-ins I've seen in a while. It looked like his chest was caved in. But I'm just mad the poor guy couldn't hit the VIP table after a long, hard day of work. Couldn't get a chance to celebrate because the entire thing got bought out by the $1 Million Man.
Listen, this is the battle of old money versus new money. And while new money is great, old money knows how to play the game. And right now, Cameron Grimes is going to have to learn to play the game like old money plays the game.
And what's that? Buying buildings to have a drink?
Buying out the building and keeping out anyone who has a chance to be a threat to your money.
That just sounds like very inefficient, really.
You rig the game. That's what you do. You rig it, and that's how you make it so that you always win.
Wait a minute. Wait, why? If that's the case, why do you have so many asterisks?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Moving on. Can we talk about your boys, or my boys, excuse me, the grizzled young veterans out there, upset, but still have a little bit of the eyes on the prize, although they kind of alluded to like packing up and heading back across the pond. I want your thoughts about that. Before I do, the match against Toothless Timmy, Old Man Ciampa, was solid to say the least, but to me, the wrong men won. Jack Farmer, GYV, are they heading back to NXTUK? And what's next for old Toothless Timmy and Old Man Ciampa?
I mean, I was sitting here thinking grizzled young veterans were the future of the division. I thought they were going to really make hay. I don't know where they're going or what they're doing, but they got beat bad. They got just whooped, I thought. Toothless Timmy and Old Man Ciampa, as you call them, they just dominated, I thought. They really made this team look like they didn't belong. And I think Ciampa and Thatcher really showed that they look like they deserve title shots. Right now, it seems like the champs, MSK, are kind of dealing with some other contenders. But based on this match, I don't know how you don't say Ciampa and Thatcher are the number one contenders.
As much as it pains me to say this, I'm going to basically echo the sentiment of Dylan Matthews. GYV has a lot of potential and they have a lot of action. And I think in any other dimension or alternate universe, they would be champions right now. But they've got so far to the sun without touching the surface of it. And today's or this week's showing wasn't the greatest at all, even though they want to say they sued to be acknowledged, recognized as it has to happen soon. And with their implication, they're going to pack up in the jet and go back to the United Kingdom. Would you do that? Would you have them go back to UK at this point?
UK has so many good teams right now. Also, I think what I think they're ready for and what I think they'd be great at is going to either Raw or SmackDown. I think they've got that kind of talent to be in the bigger leagues with the higher views and something like SmackDown. I think they could be those guys that get people tuning into those major shows, especially because those divisions need tag teams. They need more tag teams. And I think a grizzled young veterans is one of those teams that stands out as a real team that can really make hay there.
Side question, and this is kind of something I was thinking about this week. Do you think Raw and SmackDown are equal? Or is there a hierarchy within the quote-unquote main roster?
I think there are different answers to that depending on how you ask it. I think right now, the outside world as fans, we view SmackDown as the top and then Raw. I think there are people that within the company that think Raw is still the number one because it just always is. It always has been. So I think it kind of depends on how you're looking at it. But from the outside looking in, I think most of us, I know I do, I look at SmackDown right now as the top show within the WWE universe.
Sidebar, this Friday night, they're going to Old School, which could be interpreted two different ways, either Rock and Wrestling 80s, or I'm hoping we have a 1999 segment, the Ovaltron, but that's just me. Elliot Fletcher says, I think GYV will eventually take the titles, but Thatcher and Ciampa will be the contenders for the next takeover, but GYV take the titles at SummerSlam takeover, which is okay. Adam Ghazi says something completely inappropriate. It says he agrees with you, Jack. And
smart man.
No, it's fine. And GYV to SmackDown. What? Oh, but they need the momentum to go up. Okay, I agree with you. But at the same time, usually you get promoted, if I use that term, even though I don't agree with it, it usually comes after a loss, which totally fine.
If they're going, I don't think I would just say Dylan and I usually agree. I don't think I necessarily agree on this one. I don't think when you look at how many people watch both shows, honestly, about half the people who watch SmackDown aren't watching NXT. So I don't think what they're doing on NXT would really impact them going to SmackDown.
It's true. Dylan, we are of the elite of people that have a network subscription, that watch more than one brand. It tends to be very siloed across casual fans. Like whether it's school's out, we'll watch the SmackDown, or my kid and I watch Raw because I watched Raw when I was a kid. It's very few of us in wrestling circles that watch all these shows. And even less of us that talk about it, right? It's like it's a little bit of a narrow niche. Top of the pyramid.
Right.
Cream of the crop. I want your opinion about this. The four-way promo between Pete Dunne, Finn Balor, Karrion Kross, and Kyle O'Reilly. Because namely, we weren't sure whether or not Cool Kyle was the new Kyle, but the new Kyle is Cool Kyle. I know you're the total biggest fan of Cool Kyle. I just want to say Cool Kyle some more. Thoughts?
Cool Kyle. I liked him better in Undisputed Era. I know he's talented. I know he's great. I just liked him better in Undisputed Era. And so it's going to be really hard for me to get used to this new Cool Kyle. Personally, though, I loved seeing Pete Dunne come out with Karrion Kross in the ring. I want to see those two have a barn burner. I want to see just how tough Karrion Kross is when his fingers are getting bent the wrong direction. I want to see just how tough the bruiserweight is when he's getting pounded on by Kross. There's so much fun stuff that can happen there. I think those two could have such a good match. But you know what? I like chaos. I like craziness. I like adding more things to the equation. So, of course, throw Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly in there. I love it. It's great. It's a powder keg. It's going to explode. I'm all in.
Every man has a claim to that championship, I can tell you that. But especially Balor wanting another opportunity. Not a fan of the new Pete Dunne theme song because I'm in love with the original one because that's the one I come out to when I finish my run. I feel like the shower did the whole Pete Dunne thing, but it's fine. I'll deal with it. I'll live. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think the top of the division or the NXT title picture is pretty solid. It will be for months to come, and each man have a claim. That's when you know you have a strong division. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's something that these are four guys too. What I like about it is they're all tough. I don't know which one of them, even just for funsies, even as we're sort of trying to picture what this match would look like, one of them has to lose, you know? One of them has to be the one that taps out or gets pinned. I can't see any of them accepting that. So that makes it fun to watch because who's going to be the one that breaks first?
Unfortunately, it'll probably be done, but I don't think it should happen. I do think he needs a chance at that title. I really do. But I'm not a person that does that kind of fantasy booking. But when I think of championship, we think of the age that Pete Dunne has and his already accomplishments already. It would be almost like you have to go out of your way not to see him as a champion on top of whatever division he's in. But okay, that's me. That's all.
Yeah, I'd like to see him win it. I want to see him be the champion.
I do too. Moving
weird.
on.
It's weird that we agree.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. It was dead air after I was like, oh, I agree.
I
hate the Seahawks. Okay, moving on. And the Lions are over.
Careful.
So we got a little bit of a song and dance in our women's division, but in the best possible way. Zeta Ramir, who was getting actually built from her hometown, they didn't change it. Gilberton, Alabama, against Sarai. Okay, so love the promo going into this, right? Because both women came around the same time, and both the commentators were saying which one has the most to gain in tonight's matchup. With Vic saying, "Hey, look, Sarai is one of the legends." With Wade going, "Well, there's expectations on Sarai. There wasn't on Zeta Ramir." Just like that, it felt like a main event match. But of course, it was kind of a pretty standard fare as far as Sarai. She really beat her opponent to submission in those hard and fast strikes. Thoughts about the match and the fallout?
This was a great match. To your point, I thought Zeta Ramir, she's playing with house money right now. The fact that she won last week already puts her ahead of schedule in any other regard because we didn't think she was going to get a win over someone as good as Toni Storm of all people. So the fact that she has a win, she could have just been squashed today and we still would have been like, well, I mean, she's still a plus as far as I'm concerned. So losing to a legend as ahead of the game as a plus. I'll put hers on great trajectory. So I loved it. I thought it was great. Sarai looking great. I can't wait to see what she does next.
So what's floating around this whole situation is Toni Storm, right? She just lost to Zeta Ramir last weekend, got involved with Zoe Stark, was trying to tend to the aftermath of that match. She's on a warpath. The question I have for you, Jack, is does he have a path to victory, or is she just stewing in the corner knowing that full well there's a lot of ladies willing to take her spot?
Yeah, Toni Storm, she needs to I like this promo. I like Toni Storm. But as we always say, you need to start getting dubs. You need to start getting wins. You can talk great all you want, but until you start getting wins, it doesn't matter. She's finding herself very quickly becoming the grizzled young veterans of the women's division.
Ooh, dang. Jack hates British wrestling. No, I'm just kidding. We do half our show on British wrestling. I'm agreeing with you. Again, I'm the biggest Toni Storm fan. I bought her merch full price, which you know me, I never do that. I never buy merch. But ever since 2019,
right after our big spiel about buying merch to support wrestling,
I mean, you know what? I will buy Leon Ruffs though. I will buy Leon Ruffs because he's out there doing it pretty handedly. Just this thoughts about the eventual collision course. So Riot tends to win this match. Toni Storm wants Zoe Stark one more time, and of course, on top of everything, you got Raquel Gonzalez with the dopest promo of the night with Mercedes Martinez. The women's division is stacked. We always say that, but for the next month or so, I mean, what would you have lined up for Raquel Gonzalez or Mercedes Martinez in the first opponent?
Well, geez, that's a tough question. That's why I don't get paid to do this kind of stuff. So, I mean, right now, I think you have to have the rematch between Toni Storm and Zoe Stark because great match. We need to see it. I think it's fair to have it. Also, I think, Sarai has a ton of stuff she could be doing. I don't know what you do with all them. Right now, you can't really pick anything long-term until you see what happens with Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez, because that could go any way. Now, personally, I've learned never to bet against Raquel Gonzalez. She's too good. She's too strong. She's too big. But if there's anyone who makes me second guess that statement, it's Mercedes Martinez. And their promo tonight was fantastic. I love the back and forth between them. What I liked about it was how quick it was, how snappy it was. There wasn't those, I'm going to beat you at the pay-per-view. Pause. Well, I think this and that. Pause. No, they were just firing at each other, almost talking over each other. It was fast-paced. It was great. Felt very ESPN. You could see something like that happening on ESPN. So I thought it was really well executed, and I want to see these two ladies fight.
I am worried. I do think you're right. I would give the edge to Raquel Gonzalez because not only she has the youth advantage, she does have a longer reach. And she is very good at using her lower body for strength and leverage. Not to say that Mercedes Martinez is a slouch. I just think that for Mercedes to win, she has to come at 115,000% just to have a chance. And even though I really want Mercedes to be the NXT Women's Champion, I don't think this matchup will be her time. That's just a prediction. If I'm wrong, I would happily be wrong because I really do want her to be champion. But I do think this one out will be definitely Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah, I love Martinez. I want to see her. I want to see her with the title reign too. I just think right now you've got someone who's unstoppable in Raquel Gonzalez.
Just real quickly, thoughts about and moving on, changing gears, real quickly about the Jake Atlas LA Knight match. LA Knight seems to be very all about himself. Love the fact that he says you can act like him, but doesn't make you cool. Because you saw my impression last week. I'm sorry, Mr. LA Knight. Don't get mad. Jake Atlas was somebody we've seen here and there, helter skelter every couple months. And we always talk about momentum. But is Jake Atlas an afterthought in his own locker room?
Yeah, man. I think LA Knight was talking directly to you, and that's just a fact of life. So
He did it.
LA Knight, on a roll, really showing that he has everything you want in a star on NXT and really on any of the different brands. So he's got an open path to whatever he wants to do. Tony Atlas, getting time in the ring on NXT is always a good thing. Sometimes we think like having one match and losing is them not being not getting an opportunity. This was great for him. This was an awesome showing for him. He's on TV. NXT is a huge spot. They get almost 1 million viewers every week. That's massive. That's big. He got time on his show. I don't know what it costs to buy 30 seconds of commercial during NXT, but when you think about how much a commercial is worth during that time, and then how much time Tony Atlas got, that was a great thing for him. Is he Atlas? Oh my God, Jake Atlas. Oh man. I
will say Jake.
Yeah. Okay. Jake Atlas, though, nothing but love for Jake Atlas. He's great. I think is now this moment his time to be the very best? Maybe not. Maybe he's got to get some more reps in. But the fact that he's on tells me he's much more than an afterthought.
Lamb has a good point. Jack Atlas was also being on 205 Live, scored a tag team victory last week. Unfortunately, we're not denigrating anyone on 205 Live, and heck, we cover NXT UK here on this show, but television matters just a little bit more to have more casual fans flipping through. Not I'm not going to Jack Atlas or NXT or 205, it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But you're right, that didn't happen. But I thought it was interesting that both men got their intros. I was like, man, that CWC looks pretty sick with the wall and all the music and stuff like that. It's kind of wish the themes better. But the light show was great for both men. Felt like a little bit of a cool exhibition match within the show NXT. Fletcher says, I think Jake Atlas will get this time in a couple of months. He's just on the cusp of doing something big, like Swerve and Reed are doing right now. And Kushida too for a while. Kushida was there in that position. So I agree.
Yeah, it's easy to look at one night and think that this is the end all be all of what their whole career is. But so many people, most people, it takes some time for them to get that momentum going. So I think this is a great step for him. I think this is a good thing for him, and we shouldn't look at it as anything less than great.
Let's talk about our main event. Women's Tag Team Championship was on the line, which was surprising. But what wasn't surprising was the match was absolutely brutal because, of course, NXT just gives you everything on a weekly basis. We have new tag team, women's tag team champions. The Way, the female side, Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, basically won by just doing that. What's it called again? I forgot what it's called. That curb stomp move on a chair.
The Twisted Stepsister.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah. So new champs. I know Jack's happy. I know Adam Gazzi's happy. I'm pretty sure Dylan Matthews is happy. Whatever. We have new tag team champs.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to say the dog pooped in the tank. And based on the way you think about things and your opinions on the tank in the past, and those that may or may not have damaged the tank, I guess you think Shotzi should dedicate the rest of her life to getting revenge on that cute little puppy.
Maybe the puppy's owner, Frankie Monet, sure.
Oh, so now you think that Shotzi should attack Frankie Monet just because her dog had an accident?
If I don't have a dog. If I came into your car and I pooped in it, I say no hard feelings. It just happens. Poop is natural. No, there's consequences.
Well, this main event I thought was incredibly fun. It was a great street fight. Lots of great moments. I loved the double drop kick to the trash can, the tower, the tables and stuff. The Alabama Slam was a highlight for me personally. But in the end, even in street fights, Flobo, smarts get the win. Now, I clearly have favorites in this one also, and I got to give a tip of the hat to the former champs here. But ever since the tag team titles were announced, the best women's team in some ways has always been The Way, and now it's official.
Let me ask you a question. This is the Women's Tag Team Championship is about 6 weeks old or 7 weeks old, and we have 3 sets of champions. Is that a problem that's in that division, or just saying more about the depth of the division, or it's a moot point because the Way will have those titles forever and ever and ever?
I think the Way will have the titles forever and ever and ever, so long as Indy Hartwell can keep her mind on the task at hand and not some creepy stalker that won't leave her alone, even though she clearly has no interest in him.
Yeah, it's kind of weird now.
So it's I think they'll hold on to it. But look, this division, this is one of those places where the division has as many teams as it needs. It's going to be great. I think it's been a couple of title changes fairly quickly, but I think that's okay as well, because Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, I think, are a legit tag team. I think they're great. I think Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai could tag team again anytime they wanted. The Way can still be a tag team. Casey and Caden can be a tag team. You've got options there, and it's a tough division, so the titles changing hands is only natural.
To me, it was kind of lame that Caden Carter got choked out a month ago and was like, I'm over it. I'm moving on. I was like, wait. Hello? Would you want to get revenge?
No, that was the first time I agreed with her. I was like, she finally learned. She's like, whoa, okay, I get it. I'm done. I am not messing with Xia Li ever again. Xia Li, like, by the way, I love how they're like, hey, we're going to be the tag team champions someday. The tag team champions, you both got beat up by one person. You're going to take on two people now? You need to figure things out. That doesn't make any sense. It's facts. One person beat both of them up, and now they think they're going to beat two people up. I mean, that's just not a realistic thing.
Hey, Jack, down where? Like what Billy Matthews said. That's a strange promo. I agree. I'm just saying. But I don't know. I'm nitpicking, but yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I think it opens up Xia Li for bigger and better things. She doesn't need to hang out with those two anymore. She's focused now. She's winning now.
She didn't hang them out. She beat them up.
She used to hang out with them, and she was losing, and then she stopped, and now she's winning.
Fair enough. Before we get out of here, Jack, here's the thing I call burning questions. The things I've seen over the past two shows. I want your perspective on this thing. Let me know in the chat if you rock with me, if you can answer these questions while I go in time with the man, real Jack Farmer. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Karrion Kross cuts a promo wearing a sick vest. Is he shopping at the same store Santos Escobar is?
No, I was not a fan of the vest. I was not a fan of the look.
You weren't? Oh my! I
No.
thought you love loud, garish things. Hashtag Kenny Omega drip.
Some people pull it off. I don't think this was his thing.
This probably won't happen. But what if? What if Gargano met Cross and unified the titles? Good for business or nah?
No, there's too much talent to unify those titles.
I kind of alluded to my answer earlier today, but true or false? Pete Dunne will never be NXT champion.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to say false. I think he can do it.
I want him to do it. So Pete Dunne, if you're listening and you're not following me, man, that's cold. But if you're listening, please prove me wrong and become NXT champion.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or did Walter sound even more intimidating speaking in German?
Yes. I mean, he did. Yes. I like those new jackets they have too. Like they're darker. They're simplified a little bit. I like them.
I don't know. The new logo seems kind of Marvel-y to me. It's like the Marvel logo.
A little bit.
Imperium candy bar. You know what I'm saying?
I like it because it has just the name Imperium instead of the names of the guys underneath it.
I like that. You don't like the names of the guys?
No, I like just Imperium.
Love before country. I got it. That's dope.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lamb says, just jump in here. I never get when people say title versus title would always be a title unification with a huge roster, no unification. I'm with Jack too. I was just saying what if. That was kind of a thing. Yeah. But yeah, damn. And I agree with you, Adam. Yeah, like Walter speaking in German, granted he's from Austria, and I assume we should know German. It's still kind of like, oh yeah, that's kind of scary. Kushida, right. Escobar 2 set for next week. Who you got? 2 out of 3 falls.
I love me some Santos Escobar, but I give it to Kushida.
Wait, you're saying about Walter?
His time. Huh?
You were saying something about Walter? I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying it was also kind of it was scary because it was just natural talking too. For some reason, it wasn't like trying to show off the German. It was just him talking normally, which made it seem even more scary for some reason.
His grocery list. He was like eggs, butter, milk. And lastly, Gonzalez Martinez set for next week. Over under in this matchup is 13 minutes. Taking the over or the under?
I'm going to take the under.
Ooh. Hey, what up, dude? Says good looking boys right there. I think she meant you.
Hey.
Yeah, that was kind of my thoughts watching these two shows this week. And I hope that next week is pretty much going to be like a takeover-ish thing with 2 titles in the line and all that jazz. But Jack Farmer?
Yeah.
You know what time it is.
I do.
Is that time for that MVP of NXT? That's that person or tag team that just made you go, ooh, either on NXT Prime or NXTUK? Let me know.
You know, this week I got to go Swerve. Swerve got a big win over a rival that he has been battling for a long time, and he put on a fantastic showing, looked great, but also put the exclamation point on it by showing that he now has a posse with him. Big things are coming for him, and it all starts tonight.
I know it's kind of a quirky answer, but I'll give the Cameron Grimes because that was his story in 2 acts. Having a matchup showing he still is as hard hitting as needs to be, but still willing to slip with the banana peel and get mad of that wasn't even funny to me. I just could not stop laughing. Shout out to Cameron Grimes. You're entertaining as heck in my book.
I almost gave it to $1 Million Man.
Imagine he shows up, gets points. But you know, that's bottom of the hour, man. We need to get out of here. You know how it goes. You know, tell the world where they can find you online, where they can see your face, and all those dope suits you got on.
Yeah, you can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. You can also check me out at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, presented by Car Shield on KDOCLA, as well as Fight TV or streaming on YouTube every weekend. I also do the Raw after show for Wrestling Inc. So if you watch Raw, tune into Wrestling Inc. right after when we talk all about it.
Yeah, you know the deal. It's drapedandgold.com, part of the New Amsterdam Entertainment Network. Learn more at KNEWAmsterdam.com. That does it for us. Our sister show, Lead the Week, is every Wednesday night on the Jack Farmer Network. Make sure you check that out when you can. But until then, say the words.
Do your best and be yourself.